So for the next part of the lesson, we're going to practice reading words with more than one syllable or multisyllabic words. And these are words that when you come upon them when you're reading, they look like they're pretty long. And of course they are because they have more than one syllable. That's what multisyllabic means. So I'd like to teach you a strategy for being able to read those words when you come upon them. Because when I looked at the materials that have come home in your packets, I noticed that on your own, you're to be reading words that have more than one syllable. So if you get stuck on those sometimes, I want to be able to help you so that you can read those when you get to them. Because mostly the trick is figuring out what the vowel sounds are and then breaking the word into syllables and taking it apart, sounding out the sounds, blending the sounds, and then putting all the syllables back together to try the word out. So we're going to start out, going to write a word. And when I show it to you, I'm only going to show you part of it to start. Okay, so here's what we will do to practice reading multisyllabic words. First, we spot the vowels, so my turn. Sound, blend, hun. Sound, blend, dread. Blend, hun, dread. Word, hundred. So the way I did that was I looked at this word when I thought about it, and I thought about dividing it up for you. And I thought about what I know about dividing words into syllables. If I haven't ever seen a word before and I can't really read it so I can clap out the syllables, what I can do is I can look for the vowels, and then I can look and see if they have consonants in between them. So I divided my syllables between the first two consonants, which if we said hundred and clapped it out, we would say hun-dred. So that was kind of how I knew that. We needed to divide between the consonants and use that to help us break up the word. All right, we're going to try another word. I want to hide part of it from you because we want to... So I wanted to hide part of it from you because we only want to focus on one syllable at a time. All right, so here's our word. So I found the vowel and I'm thinking about the sound. Sound, blend, R. Sound, blend, rive. Blend, arrive. Word, arrive. All right, so I did the first one for you. The second one I did with you. Now for the remaining three, I'm going to allow you to try them on your own, and then I'll review them with you after each word. All right, so let me get our next word up here on my board. Right. So your turn. Sound, blend, sound, blend, blend, word. All right, so just to review, had our sound, blend, well, well. Sound O. This one's a little bit tricky because when you looked at this, you might have seen one of our sight words and been able to read it as a sight word, which is come. So had I been trying to work through that word and I said the long O sound and read this as comb, let's blend it and see if it sounds like a word that we actually know. Welcome. Welcome. That doesn't sound like a word we say, but I bet that if you sounded it out the first time and segmented it and came up with welcome, that in your mind you would have thought, that sounds like welcome. You would have noticed that C-O-M-E is come. That spells one of our sight words. So you probably would have fixed it. And if you didn't, that's okay. That's why we practice. All right. So I hope that that was helpful. Let's do another. We're going to do more than 2 syllables this time. See if you can predict how many syllables are going to be in this word. It's a longer one, so I need 2 cards. All right. Your turn. Sound. Okay, look carefully at this one. You actually know this chunk. Blend. Sound. Blend. Blend. Sound. Blend. Word. All right, let's work through this one. So let me go ahead and cover these back up. Okay, so when you looked at this, I hope that when you looked at it, you saw the word to. It's one of our very common sight words. It's one that I've heard all of you read before perfectly with no problem when you were reading passages to me. So we would blend this. To. The sound here is eh. So geth, blend, geth, to, geth. And then our sound here, it's our R-controlled E, so it's blend, to, geth, word, together. Now, as you'll notice with this one, remember before I said sometimes you'll find your vowels and you'll split up the consonants that are between them? I didn't do that here. And I didn't do that because when I looked at this word, if I was looking at it as somebody who didn't know quite how to read it, I would look at the TH and remember TH works together. They're a digraph. They work together to make one sound. So I don't want to split them up while I'm figuring out this word. I know they say th, so I would not split my syllables there. I would keep this syllable together. So I know that I know a lot of this because I've practiced reading a lot and I've learned a lot about letters and how they work together. So that's why I'm sharing my thinking with you to help you think through words when you get to parts of words that are tricky that you're trying to figure out. All right, let's try one more word. Oh, and did you predict how many syllables were in that word? If you predicted 3, you were correct. See if you can predict how many are going to be in this last word that we work on together. See if I can put this on there in a way that's not gonna. All right, your turn. Sound. Blend. Sound. Blend. blend, sound, blend, blend, word. All right, so our sounds and our blends, one more time. All right, so my sound here, if I were a student doing this, I would have said ah. And then blending it would be calm, sound, you, blend, pew, blend, come, pew. How did I know that was a long U sound? I did because it's a U in an open syllable. And if it's a vowel in an open syllable, it's going to say its long sound. And I know it's open because there's nothing after it quite yet. All right. Revealing our last syllable, sound, blend, blend, computer, word, computer. All right, so I hope that that was helpful for you to be able to see those longer words and know that you have the power to break them up and look at the parts and sound them out because you know your phonics, you know your letter sounds. We've practiced them in the card pack. We've practiced them from writing them and reading them in lots of different ways. So just remember, you have that knowledge in your head of those letter sounds. Sometimes you might have to try a sound out to see if it works. And if it doesn't sound right and you know the letter makes a different sound, try the other sound and see if that works. But always be asking yourself, does this word make sense? Does it sound like something that I've ever heard before? All right. Thank you for your hard work. I hope that this lesson has been helpful to you, and I hope that you will tackle those words with confidence.